I just stacked this dude.
Alright, got some more heads up action here today. See how he plays. Min raise. Alright. So, math-wise, when you min raise pre, you're risking $1. 50 cents. The math you do is $1 divided by the total size of the pot after you make that raise, which is $1.50. So if they fold more than 66% of the time, it's profitable to do it with any 2 cards. So you should be defending against min raises. Oh, double action. Could foreseeably have a jack here, but we have an open-ended straight draw. He might fold some ace highs now, and he might even fold a queen. Kind of smelled like a jack the way he took a while to check. I think you can check back there too. When you risk $1.50 to win 50, and we will switch to $1.50, it's a little more standard. The math looks like this. You're risking $1.50 to win a pot that is now $2. So they would have to win. They would have to fold more than 75% of their hands for it to be immediately profitable. So against min raises, you need to defend at least 34% of your hands for them not to be able to do it with any 2 cards. To give you an idea of what 34% of hands looks like, this isn't the exact range you would do, but it looks something like in this region. Ace high is not going to win here, but I do want to see what he has. He checked back 2 pair on the river. We'll be check raising that. So you need to defend all your suited aces. I would say you should probably just defend all your pairs. You can take, well, I actually defend more than 34%. But if you were defending exactly 34, it might look something like that. Jack 9 just got there. Queen 8, 10, 8. Flush draw with an 8. Jack 9 obviously would be getting it in and crushing us. But we run good, and we are going to be committed with 2 pair in a bloated pot now. Oh, nasty. Huge nit. Huge nit. He just called down with a set, heads up. On a drawy board. So very, very weak play. He really coolered us. He could have had all the money if he wanted it. Happily. On that flop, I would have shipped it all in. No problem. These guys are playing tough enough that we'll just focus on those 2 tables. So I'll get rid of those. And once we get a slightly bigger sample size, we can start to look at what their ranges look like. I think I'll mix in a 3-bet here, or not. See how they react to 3-bets. This guy's very nitty. His steal percentage is at 29 with a 0.3 ag factor. He's also folding to steal 83% of the time. So we can literally raise any 2 cards profitably, even to 3x. Mix in a little check raise bluff. We know he's a pretty big nit. We will be committed on this board in a 3-bet pot. King, queen would suck. Ace, king, possible. You would hope you'd 4-bet. It's a gross card. I don't know if there's any value in betting, so I'm going to check. He can't feasibly have ace high, like a weird ace queen type hand. I don't see a ton of value in betting. I don't think that he has many 4s in his range. He could have an ace that could value bet here, but we are going to call river, hoping to see like 9s or 10s turning their hand into a bluff. I don't know if he would do that though, but he shouldn't have a 4. It's possible he had pocket 4s and floated flop. He could have a weird flush. I think we're going to win that when he checks back. And I'm guessing he's going to show us like 8s, 7s, 8s, or 9s. Pretty often. 6s. So he made a tiny 3-bet, so we defend. Not a great hand, and against a standard 3-bet, I'd probably fold. But, I think I'll stab at this since he's a huge nit. If he has like ace-10, I don't know what his 3-betting range would include. Maybe pocket jacks, and he's going for a trap. Given how nitty he is, I am going to fire a second barrel. And I wouldn't be surprised to see jacks, but I think he'll fold some better hands here. Apparently not. I think we're going for the 3-barrel. Uh-oh. Oh, wow. Okay. Holy moly, this guy is... Woo! Woo, lads. Oh my gosh, he's crushing us. He just 3-bet kings and then played us like a fiddle. Wow. It's incredible, actually. Maybe not a bad play. I mean, it is a bad play. He misses a ton of value from our jacks and queens there. He's beating queen jack, by the way. I mean, there's literally no hand that beats him. A super slow played aces? I don't know. I have no idea what he was scared of. But we're not going to run 3 barrels on him anymore. Except in select spots. Because we now know he can just show up with like a monster. 3-bet that. He folds to 3-bet 100%, and threes. The only flop you are in love with threes is one that has a 3 on it. This will be a pretty standard jam if he 4-bets. And good luck us. Run Goot. Uh-oh. That's bad. Spade. 9-2, queen. Yeah. Should have snap called. So, stuck 2 buy-ins here today. That was a standard spot. I don't know why it took him so long to call. Uh-oh. Okay, good. 10-jack. I was hoping it would be 10-jack. The way he played it smelled like 10-jack. 9-10. Okay, so he called our 3-bet with 9-10 offsuit. That's actually really good to know. And then snap called when we jammed. When he called quickly, I assumed it was a queen, and there are some queens in his range. Queen-jack might play it this way. But I thought it felt like a 2-pair type hand, so I value jammed, hoping he'd think for a while and then call. So when he snap called, I was a little bit worried. Queen high might win this one. Though he's pretty passive, so I don't think I should call turn. I think I should either be leading turn, check raising turn, or folding turn, more than just calling, because I'm not going to call down against a 0.8 ag factor. I don't expect ace high to bet the turn. Yeah, we're going to chop that. The 10 plays. Unfortunately, this guy always folds pre, and he does it again. He calls, so he will have some aces in his range. I'm going to think for a second. I'm folding here, but I'm going to take a second to think so he doesn't think we'll just snap fold to all his 3-bets. weird king-like hand. He's nitty enough, I don't think he'd bet 2 streets without a king, and he did. Oh, 10-6 with the flush draw. I don't think he would bet the turn with 10-6 without that flush draw. There's enough draws that he doesn't give us credit for the 5, and he calls it off, which is good for us. Chop, chop, chop. Like I said, I don't feel like we need to just like try and blow this guy off hands because he could have a very strong range. And even though we made a pair against a lot of players, I'd call here and be pretty happy about it. I'm going to check raise that or not. I'd be pretty happy calling. This player's not super crazy. I think it'll be a 10 or a queen. Almost always. Sometimes a weird missed draw. But there's no flush draw that could miss. There's only the straight draw, so I'll just elect to fold. I'll check raise this. So he does c-bet. When he raises pre, he does c-bet. This guy, it says 0% c-bet. I think I have some glitches. Because sometimes I'll be playing a player and I know he's not like 0% c-betting. Probably call here. That's a very good bluff card for him, though a lot of times he will show the ace. And when he checks, we're essentially always winning. The only king that was beating us was King Jack, which shouldn't check the turn and would obviously bet the river. And all aces should bet the river as well. Two. Was not expecting that. I didn't expect him to give me credit for the ace. But I did consider checking back, but I think he'll fold some sixes. Maybe a 10, though. He's a little sticky, so. I think you could check back bottom pair here. It's kind of close. It's a terrible card for us. Three bet. Darn it. What happened here? There we go. So he's still folding 70% to steal, so we'll just min raise. I mean, we'll essentially just raise every single button no matter what. Got some latency issues, might be on my end. So like, let's look. We're approaching 100 hands. Let's look at what an 8% 3-bet range looks like. Something like that. If you look at a 12%, something like that. Both pretty tight. But honestly, not that crazy. Not like crazy tight by any means. I'm looking at other hands you can 3-bet. You can 3-bet all your pairs if you want to. Maybe 3-bet Queen Jack. Take some of those out actually. I might not. I might 3-bet them. It matters. Bet. But sample sizes this small, like, don't really mean much. 60 hands doesn't tell me much. Bottom pair on both. Definitely feel like we have some latency issues here. Terrible card for us. Really, really bad. I mean, both the tourney and the river are bad. Pretty good river for us. Obviously, I prefer a 7 or a 5, but it makes the ace less likely, which is what he's representing. unfortunately, I think this player might have been a little fishier, just a little, and I was kind of happy we were at 60, so we're playing 120 big blinds deep. Now an 8 or a jack gives us a straight. 5 gives us nothing but 9 high. We'll see his 10. 7's good too. I think I'll mix in a light 4-bet at some point, especially if he's 3-betting, close to 12.5% of hands, because he's got some hands in there that would fold right away, and he's got some hands that would defend by calling. And so like a hand like Queen 4 is probably not going to be a candidate for a light 4-bet or whatever that was. But a hand like 5-6 suited, 6-7 suited, 7-8 suited, some of those suited connectors that can flop really strong and can develop into good bluff hands or make the nuts are probably a candidate I would consider. The thing is, he doesn't like to fold a lot to 3-bets. So I've curtailed my light 3-bets quite a bit. It's a good flop. Looks like we'll get action here from a $50 stack. Let's hope he limps some buttons for us. Interesting. We're gonna fold. In fact, I didn't even like I wasn't in love with the turn call. Yep, we'll mix that in. Actually, his stack size makes 4 betting not super enticing, so maybe we won't. Maybe we'll defend by calling though. Show me a bluff. And this is very unfortunate. It's picking up the stats from last game. So, and I honestly don't know if there's a way to reset stats. Weird. Ace high? Ace high would check and win here. Ace king. If he has jack 8 or a set, he's getting all the money. Three bets, 10% of hands. Really 11. Something like this. Does ace 8 play good against this range? We're never gonna over ace him. Almost all his pairs beat us. These hands play okay against us, so we'll fold. Take a 5. Take the 5 of hearts. I will float him if he check raises. We have 2 overs and a gut shot to the absolute nuts. Sometimes we can cooler him if he has 6-7 and a 5 rolls off. This is very unfortunate. He's limping buttons, so I feel even stat-free we'll have a lot of fun against this guy. I'm going to like 3-bet here, though I wish it was suited. Like 4-bet. Nope, I'm not. 4 high is probably not going to win here. Actually, a pretty good board to bluff 4 high. And against that hand, I think it would work. Maybe not. He had a pair, actually. That's called a combo draw. That's called a fold. No, man. Don't fold when I flop like a boatload of equity. So we have paid $23 in rake. On this table alone. I'm looking at his stack size. We're at 100. He's at 37. So there's $137 on the table. And he's bought in for 100. I bought in for 50, I think. I hope that's all. Otherwise we'd paid even more. It's not like the most amazing board to see bet, but king high gets, gosh, I don't know if it gets any equity to fold. Because queens would probably either check call or check raise. So we probably just bluffed with the best hand. But, I mean, we got some equity to fold. We didn't have a pair. So if he has even 2 unders, he can pair up and beat us. It's always, like, it's a good thing when they fold their equity away. He's 3-bet us a couple times now. This is not a great candidate. I'm going to 2-barrel this one. I think some ace highs call and then fold turn. We'll 3-bet and get it in against this guy. If he 4-bets, which he doesn't, that is not a great board, great board for us. I think I'm going to check and see what he does. Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. I think an ace would bet. I think a queen would probably bet. So I think we're going to go for the old call down here. Oh gosh, nasty. I should probably think longer on the river because full pots are almost never a bluff. But he's calling 3-bets with queen 6, which is very good to know. So 9-10 just got there. I'm going to 2-barrel that though. So we turn some equity. Kings should never fold. 9-10 obviously is going to jam on us. Some 2 pairs got there. Some Jack-10 floats are not folding now. Gosh, that's nasty. Really want to bluff. Maybe slow rolling queen 10. That'd be funny. Oops, I think I just led on accident. Oh, he folded! Whee, lads! I was prepared to just call that down, but the river filled the bluffs that I was hoping to catch. What was that hand he owned us in? Oh yeah, the queen 6 hand. Very good board for us. He can have queen 7 since he showed queen 6. He could have ace queen. We are going to be value jamming that. Uh-oh, we win. Whenever they call quick, I'm like, ugh. It scares me that a guy, I mean, I guess I do it too. Like, you saw me just like snap off in a bad spot with pocket 9s when, like, if I had taken a step back, it would be obvious he had a queen. And I was just like, I'm going to call no matter what, I'm going to call. And he showed, like, the nuts. Not in love with this board. I could 3-bet that, but I was focused over here. I guess he's going to raise us. Nope. He does not. I don't know if there's value in betting here. All right, we'll check. Oh, I did want to see what he had. So when I 3-bet ace-jack, this will actually be good information to know. He called the 3-bet with ace-4 and then called down on that board. Here's why defending 3-bets with weak aces is just something you should get out of the habit of right now, because it doesn't play good. Like, you flop top pair, your head's up, top pair is just like a very, very strong hand, but I have to be bluffing. And my bluff frequency by the river is... Honestly, I play very exploitably against these guys. I don't fire a ton of 3-barrels. I fired a 3-barrel against him, which I wasn't super happy about, but the pot was big, and any 10 is a straight. And I knew that ace-queen wasn't going to win otherwise. The ace-high had essentially no showdown value on that board. And we just flopped trips here. We'll check raise turn, or not. Not bad flop. Second pair in a gutter. Not a great turn for us. It ruins our 2-pair outs. He's betting full pot again, and as we saw last time, okay, so we just turned an open-ended straight flush draw. We'll bet that. As we saw last time, when he potted the river, he had trips, so I'm guessing it's a decent hand. We'll let that go. It's not fun to put, you know, money in the pot and then fold against a guy that I consider to be fairly aggressive, but he'll give us opportunities better than that. And our only reads on his bet sizing so far is that his we saw him do a full pot river bet quickly, and he essentially had like effectively the nuts. Or at least heads up, it's such a strong hand you should consider it, you know, a monster hand. So he did it with a monster. I'm not going to call him with second pair there. He can have some weird sevens. He can have a jack. He can have some weird boats. I think it smells more like an overpair or like pocket jacks. The reason I called pre, I bet $1 and it was 2 more. That's a pretty fair price to play 9-10 in position. This guy's fold to 3-bets super low, so we'll be value raising ace-queen. And I'll shove if I have to. Obviously another great board, though he can't have ace-6 or ace-3. But we take it down, so no bad beat there. And the red line goes up. Can 3-bet this one. I'll play 4s in position. All right, he's gonna show me an 8 or a queen here almost always. Weird. Jack 8? Jack 3 would suck. I mean, I'm not calling, so I'm not gonna find out what he has unless he shows me. Maybe a weird ace. If he's full potting river, it should be 2-pair. If he's doing that with less than 2-pair, then it's just horrendous, essentially. Even ace king, I think, should, like, I mean, he never has ace-king there, but if he did have ace-king, I don't think he should be, like, full potting that. C-bet here, but there's really not a ton going for us. I'm not going to barrel him. He's crazy. I'm just not interested in messing with him. Full pot. I want to see full pot bets. Good. It's just, they put so much more money into the pot than they have to. So when we have a monster, we know that on the river, he'll be making some mistakes. Open-ended straight draw on a flush board is not the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Jack high might actually win though. I consider betting there. And I might call a small river bet though. He can show king high. Yeah, I should have bet the turn. Just, that's exactly why. You get them to fold the equity they do have. So he just won a $2 pot that he would have almost certainly folded on the turn. His only options would have been to like try and run a big bluff, or to fold, and I think this guy would just fold, especially that stack size. It's not very threatening. Like, let's say he raises, he doesn't have a lot behind threatening us. So like if he's trying to get us off of a pair, he should know that it's going to be very, very difficult. This guy's grinding it back up against us. Obviously, ace high is always going to call here, but some other hands like king 10 might call. So we're going to show this down. Hopefully show it down though. He should bet an ace, a slow played 3, or a straight here. All right, and he bets. I'm not going to look him up with king high on this board, though he can be bluffing sometimes. These boards are pretty good to c-bet because if he has a club, you know, he's not going to fold. But if he doesn't have a club, if he has no club, no pair, he should just be folding pretty happily. Now, actually, king high has some value, but whatever. Pocket queens. I was hoping for a 3-bet. Really wish our stats were accurate for this guy, but they're not. and we are folding to his steals pretty frequently. I need to mix in some light 3-bets so that my actual 3-bets aren't met with like just a very, very easy fold for him. But it is what it is. I'd love if he has a 9 here. Nope. No good. Pretty good card for us. Obviously the 10's better, so if he has a queen, we're drawing dead now. But if he doesn't, then we have the best hand. Try and get $2 from him here. I'll c-bet that. I like to keep an aggressive c-betting range, though there's a lot of draws that would call. Now that's obviously a very, very good card for us. If he leads, we'll call down. Though I would consider folding to a pot-sized bet on the river if it was a diamond. When he checks, we're for sure betting our ace. He's been leading his monsters, and I think he would call with a jack here, maybe even an 8. And he probably should call with a jack. I think an 8 could fold without it being a big mistake. I mean, you can actually quantify all these things I'm saying. We'll 3-bet this, and after we put the 3-bet in, we will be forced to call it off pre, which is not ideal, but I'm not going to put in $4 with a $19 stack and then fold king queen. It's very strong heads up. King ball, club, king. Not meant to be. That is not a straight. We have 9 high. Do want to see if he's calling me down with a 6 here. I bet he bets half the pot. Let me just double check, make sure I have nothing. And I don't, so we'll fold. Give him a chance to bluff. He has some 6s, but 8s would call here and might bluff the river. 10 high. 6, okay, so he was looking for an 8. Did we 3-outer him? Did we have queen 9 or jack? Yeah, okay, we had jack 9. I like when I 3-outer people because it can steam them up a little bit. Good turn for us. All right, weird. Definitely 3-bet that, get it in pre. The last time he got all in pre, he showed us ace, queen. Pretty good board for ace high. Though he doesn't fold the 3-bets a ton, so he can have an 8, some 6s. His steal percentage is 57, so there's not as many 6s and 8s in them. He just doesn't like to fold to 3-bets. I mean, he's raising 60% of hands, but only folding 14% of those to a 3-bet. It's pretty bad. So he's going to the flop with some very loose holdings. I usually don't check back top pair, but I did want to get 2 just full clean streets of value, and we turn 2 pair and he folds. I'm okay giving some free cards sometimes. I'm not sure that's a great check back candidate. I think you should just be like betting your top pair and better hands, like even weak bad top pairs. You should probably bet. So I'm not really sure why I decided to check that back. I just kind of checked it back. And when I say bet, obviously you don't have to bet every single turn in river if they come really, really bad against an opponent's range. And when I say bet, I mean against players who are capable of calling down light, who frequently call down light, who like will flop a 6 and just say, that's it, I'm strapping in, and go for the triple call down, and your river bet should be relatively small. Because the bigger your river bet is, the stronger their range of calling hands is. That's when you see, like sometimes on television and coaching videos, they'll say, we're betting the river small here, we're trying to get some thin value. With a hand like Jack 7, if it didn't improve, let's say the river was even an overcard, like an ace is a good example. I'm going to be 3-betting that. So like the turn is a break. Please have an ace. Please don't have King Jack. That. And he's gone. We're going to finish that table up. I'm ready for a break. This video is going on an hour. I wouldn't mind getting this guy's last $30, but he doesn't play like crazy horrendously bad or anything. What was that hand I missed while that was going on? It says 1 pair aces. He won with 1 pair of aces. Oh, okay. So when he bet the turn, I was not super thrilled about it because he hasn't actually been showing. It kind of felt like an ace to me. I don't think he'd bet. He just hasn't been running a ton of bluffs. Now the thing is, the board's super draw heavy, so our pair actually stands up against his range of hands that would continue a little better than if the board was really dry. Let's say this wasn't a club, this was a spade, and this was the 2 of whatever. It fulfilled the rainbow or something. Then you'd be in a situation where I don't think he'd be betting as many worse hands as he would on this board, where he has some flush draws. He has some random 5s that turn to a straight draw. He has some random 6 5s, some pairs of, I don't think a 6 would continue, but I think there were some hands that we were beating in his range on this board. So I wasn't happy about the turn call, but we lived with it. I am going to check raise this gut shot because I like to play aggressively. If you're going to defend hands like 8-9 offsuit out of position, I don't think you should just be playing fit or fold. So we'll mix in a little check raise from time to time when we have some equity. I'm not going to continue to bluff here. I don't think he's going to be in the mood to fold to us very much anymore. That said, this is actually a decent river to bluff. Except we probably wouldn't, if he's a thinking player, which I don't think he'd think on this level, we shouldn't have an ace very often. We didn't 3-bet pre, so we don't have ace-jack or ace-queen. King 10 is possible for us to rep. It's possible we defend King 10, go for the check raise, and lead the turn. It's fun to rep against bad players who will fold aces, and the flush comes in. But I just don't think this guy's going to be in the mood to fold a jack, though I don't know why he would check back a jack. I actually expect to see ace high, like a pair of aces pretty often. Oh, okay. So he turned a pair of 4s. He might have folded that. But we've been beating up on him pretty hard. And he sits out. I think I'm going to take a break from poker for a little bit. And I'm guessing, I'm not 100% sure, but we're almost certainly up after that session. 1779. I have no idea what we started at, to be honest with you. I think it was like 1750. Guess we can check Hold'em Manager. Let's make sure that's totally updated. So we're at 1779. Hold'em Manager. Let's look at today's session. Up 31. So that would actually make perfect sense. So we played 55 minutes, and we can look at a graph of that session. Ran a little below EV. How'd our showdown winnings go? Up, positive on both accounts. Played about 300 hands, it looks like. So 301. So it didn't change our graph a ton. Yeah, there we go. So now it's updated. So we're up a little bit. Fun session. Played some mediocre, decent players. I think that this week especially, I've been playing against a bunch of players who I think could actually grind out a small win rate if they were the ones sitting at tables waiting for action, waiting for fishier players to sit. The problem is they're obviously somewhat knowledgeable in heads up. They're playing ranges of hands, like their pre-flop range isn't like ridiculously tight, like a nine-handed table player coming to play. It's not ridiculously loose, like there's just crazy fish that we all dream of every day. It's been somewhat legit, and their 3-bet percentage, like all 3 guys we played today, was probably somewhere between a 10 and 15%, which might be a little tight, but it's not like a huge mistake. Like you see some of these guys who never 3-bet or only 3-bet aces, kings, queens, or the others end of the spectrum where the guy just 3-bets every single hand. So they've been playing okay. The problem is they're sitting against opponents who are waiting for action. And it's good if they're just sitting down trying to get better at poker, trying to see what the guys sitting do. That's okay. You give up a little bit of EV to try and learn something. But if they're like trying to learn to be a winning heads-up player, they're trying to actually grind out a win, they need to be the ones sitting and waiting for weaker people to come play them. Because there's very, very few players that play 50 NL that I feel like I'd be a big dog to. And I'm never going to give them a ton of action. I'm essentially a bankroll nit and a huge advocate for table selection without being a complete bum hunter. I'll play you if I think we're about break even. I'll play for a while. If it's clear that Doug Polk is on his, bankroll challenge and he's sitting me, I'm not going to waste my time. Honestly, I don't have a big enough bankroll to blow through 10 buy-ins trying to prove something. And a big part of winning heads up theory or winning heads up strategy is sitting players who are weaker than you. So when you're learning to play, make sure you're the one sitting at the table waiting for weaker players to come to you, rather than going and sitting guys and trying to figure it out. Because odds are, if they're already sitting at table, it's because they're a heads-up specialist. Very rarely will you find a fish who wants to waste his time sitting at an empty table. Keep that in mind. I don't know if I've ever met a fish who will sit at an empty table waiting for action heads up. They will move on to a different type of poker. They'll go play 6-max or PLO or zone if they can't find heads up action. They're not going to wait 15 minutes for someone to come play them. So the fish sit you just wait. And sometimes you're going to wait 15 minutes. So get Reddit open, see what's going on, what's on the front page, kick back, relax. You might be waiting 15, 30 minutes till the good spots show up. Real quick, we can look at the winning summary. Like I say in every video when we check this, our sample sizes are way too small to really matter. I don't think I'm a 20 big blind per 100 winner at heads up, though some people actually are. The one that I'm certainly not, I'm definitely not a 24 big blind per 100 winner at 25.56 max. It's just not going to happen. If that number stays at 24 when we approach 100,000 hands, that would be a pretty incredible feat. Not going to happen. I could see this number hovering around 15. I could see this number hovering around 6 or 7. So we've ran well, I assume. I don't think the games are soft. Poker is not dead. When I deposited the money on Ignition, I was like, I don't even know if I want to bother. I put it off for a long, long time because the games have gotten tougher. There's more information available, like the video you're watching right now, where people will show you what they're doing. And there's just less fish. There's more barriers to get money onto a legitimate poker site. It's not 2007 on Full Tilt where you just put your debit card in on a Friday night and fire off some money. It just will not happen. So the people who are playing generally as a whole are tougher, but it's certainly not dead. There's a ton of leaks. There's still a ton of fish. grind it out, start at the low stakes, and do your own bankroll challenge. And if you're a good poker player and you're putting a ton of concerted effort and practice, you're going to become a winning player and you'll do good. So let me know what you thought of the video. I know I say this at the end of every video. I'm going to be posting some more strategic content. I film these videos about a week or two in advance, so it's possible some of those strategy videos will have come out by the time you see this, but if not, they are coming, they're on the way. I still got to put together the presentations, but should be some good stuff. We'll go over some poker math, we'll go over all sorts of stuff. So thanks for watching. Until next time.